everything you need to know about a Ram 1500 RHO. So the extreme off-road Baja truck market has been dominated by Ford for over a decade. But unless you've been living under a rock, in 2021, Ram destroyed its reputation, making a truck that was bigger, faster, quicker, more powerful, more luxurious, and better at absolutely everything. Now, unfortunately, the head-ups at Stellantis have canceled the V8 engine, which means Ram was left to replace this Halo truck with something else. This platform that was wider, bigger, and did everything better than the notorious Raptor was left without a power plant. So all new in 2025, we get this RHO, Ram High Output. This is fueled by a 540 horsepower, high output, twin turbo Hurricane engine and is here to keep its crown as the Raptor Destroyer.
I'm Jeff Batchelor and I love cars. I love the look, I love the design, and I love the emotion that you feel. I love the history, brand stories, marketing strategy, and automotive trends. I love engineering, types of propulsion, engine specs, drivetrain, and performance, and I love the interiors, layouts, smell, and the gizmos and gadgets and bells and whistles. But I don't only love cars, I also sell them. If you love this content and want to chat about a purchase, text me at 416-523-6585. Now back to the video.
So the RHO is Ram's all-new Halo truck. It sits at the absolute top of its truck lineup. Now, Ram has proven that they can do off-road trucks better than every other brand on the market with an entry-level Ram Warlock, then moving up to a Ram Rebel, and at the top of the chain is this, a Ram RHO, a truck that does truck stuff very, very well, but it can also off-road, it can also jump, it can also tow, and it's got one of the most luxurious cabs you've ever seen. So really, when it comes to ultimate trucks on the market, there's nothing that comes even close to Ram's all-new Halo truck. All right, now let's pop the hood on your Ram 1500 RHO. Underneath the hood, you see this all-new power plant. This is a 3-liter high-output twin turbo from Stellantis. This pumps out 540 horsepower and 521 feet-pound of torque. That'll push this 6,000-pound truck 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds, as well as help it run a quarter mile in only 13 seconds. Both of those factors are much, much, much quicker than the current generation Ford Raptor. And if 540 ponies wasn't enough, I've got dozens of customers who are upgrading their high output Hurricane engines with the JB4 tuner, which adds over 100 horsepower. So with a very small investment, you can change your 540 horsepower super truck into a 640 horsepower super truck with the JB4 tuner on it. This truck will actually put out a 0 to 60 time quicker than the 700 horsepower TRX. So if you don't need the V8, but you still want the speed, there's certainly some easy ways to take care of that. All right, now let's talk exterior styling. There's quite a lot of features on this Ram RHO that set it apart from every other truck in the Ram lineup. Let's first talk about this hood with this big, massive air intake. It's an actual functional air intake, and underneath the hood, you can see exactly where it puts that air into the engine bay. Right here in the grille, we've got a big, large, wide opening again, making sure we can get tons of air into this big engine. Even the Ram letters have been cut out to let air pass through. Down below, we have a steel powder-coated bumper that's been rounded to give this truck an extreme approach angle, giving it off-road capability that stands alone as best in class. And then we can't forget these big, massive, wide fenders. This stance is so wide, it looks as wide as a dually. Plus, these fenders actually have air pass-through zones. So again, just because this truck is super wide doesn't mean it can't cut through the wind with ease. New for 2025, we have all new LED headlights. Really nice the way the daytime running lights look. When the turn signal's on, the sequential flow of the light is super, super impressive. And then right up here on the hood, you see what's underneath the hood. It is a Hurricane high output engine. I love all the badging and little elements that Ram does on their vehicles like this. Now, as we come around the side of this truck, you can see we have ultra large, non-painted fender flares to house these ginormous 35-inch tires, okay? Behind the 35-inch tires, you see these extra thick, ultra robust control arms and suspension components in this Ram truck. This truck is so wide that the government actually forces it to put LED indicators on the side of its fender flares. And same with those LED lights that you see in the hood and on the rear tailgate. Alongside, these Ram RHOs can be optioned with a few different running boards. There's a rock slider, which doesn't give the foot much of a place to step, but I much prefer these Mopar off-road powder-coated running boards. Really grippy, really functional, and still keep the look of the truck the way that you want it to be. Now that we get around to the rear, you can really see the Bilstein suspension that is in the back of here. It is a Blackhawk E2 active terrain dynamic system which adjusts as you drive as well as when you alter it into different drive modes, okay? The thing that I like the most is this little actuator back here, which is meant to sense when the truck is in the air. That's right. This suspension wants to know when you are airborne with this truck so that it knows when to stiffen up its suspension and prepare for a landing. So not only is everything on the exterior of this truck mean, menacing, and aggressive looking, but it's also ultra functional. This truck is wider than your typical 1500. This truck has a longer wheelbase than your typical 1500. This truck has more wheel articulation and travel than a typical Ram 1500. Almost 14 inches from the front and rear wheels. This truck even has more ground clearance than the typical Ram truck, with over 12 inches of clearance without any sort of air ride system. So the RHO looks impressive, but everything in this truck is functional. All right, and when it comes to interiors, Ram is second to none. And it's a shame that none of the other competitors are even trying to come up to the quality that Ram is. And it doesn't matter if you're a Ram fan or not. Every single automotive journalist and their mother's uncle knows that Ram has been making the best interiors, and they've been doing this for over 6 years. Their design cannot be matched. They have a way of integrating large digital tech-filled infotainment screens and other passenger screens without ruining the design and the aesthetics of the interior. And then the quality of its materials, the variety of the materials, the fit and finish makes it feel like you're in the utmost luxury vehicle. This Ram RHO has such a beautiful interior covered in rich leathers, beautiful Alcantara suedes, real aluminum trims, and beautiful badges. The attention to detail is incredible, and nobody would ever be disappointed with the interior of these Rams. All right, now you know I'm a sucker for a good door panel. Look, from the top of the door panel to the bottom of the door panel, there is a tremendous attention to detail. We've got real leather wrap top sills that are even accented with red stitching. Next, we have real Alcantara suede that runs most of the door panel. Then we have these beautiful dark chrome accents that cover the door handle and so forth. And then we have this nice perforated leather material where you can see a red color in behind it, okay? Even the Harman Kardon speaker covers with their aluminum covers and Harman Kardon badging is elegant and high-end. I mean, this truck has it all. And then when it comes to the seats, again, Mopar makes some of the nicest, huggiest, deepest, most comfortable seats in the entire truck market, okay? Again, you can see the leather, the graining, the stitching, and the craftsmanship put into this. The combination of leather, vinyl, Alcantara, perforation, and stitching is unparalleled. And all new for 2025, these seats are not only heated and ventilated memory seats, but they also have a massage function. All right, now that we're sitting inside your Ram 1500 RHO, you are greeted by all kinds of technology, but I love the way that Ram seamlessly blends these screens and buttons and options into the beautiful design and aesthetic. Now, first off, we've got the flat bottom sport steering wheel with big thick bolsters, accent red stitching, and large aluminum paddle shifters. There are some cutouts in the back of the paddle shifters for your radio buttons, which I thought was really clever of Ram to do that. On the left-hand side, you have the controls to go through your 12-inch driver instrument cluster. And then on the right-hand side, you've got the buttons for the all-new, for 2025, hands-free driving system. That's right. This is the only one of the high-output wide body super trucks that actually allows you to drive it hands-free. There's a small sensor above the steering wheel which will watch your eyes that when engaged will allow you to drive the truck without your feet on the pedals or your hand on the wheel. With a quick turn of the turn signal, the truck will actually even change lanes for you, and then turning signal the other way, it'll return back into the lane. This is one of the best hands-free systems available on the market, and Ram does a really good job of making it unbelievably user-friendly. All right, now I'm going to geek out for a little bit here on this full color 12-inch digital driver instrument cluster that Ram uses on this truck because it has so much information and it's so user-friendly. Now on the very first home screen, you can see a classic view with a large tachometer on the left and then your speedometer on the right and a very clear speedometer right smack down in the middle. We also have a digital view that simplifies things even more with a horizontal tachometer at the bottom and a very large and clear display of your speed. Then we get a sport view, which will show you which gear you are in. We'll display a shift light if you want to have it up there, as well as on screen puts your G-force meter right in the driver cluster. And then we've got Baja View, which will show you a vehicle dynamic of your choice in the right. This one is displaying the tire pressure. And on the left-hand side, another vehicle dynamic of your choice. Again, all of this is very customizable. Once I scroll down, I get the driver assist view. This will visibly show me where my truck sits between the road lines. It'll show me vehicles on screen if there's one close to me, and the entire screen lights up green when my hands-free system is active and safe to use. I also have the option of a full page color navigation, as well as so much vehicle information you might not even know what to do with. Now, something that I really love is the multi-view. We have up to 5 different tiles that you can have displayed in this information screen. I can change the view to just 4 tiles, 3 tiles, 2 tiles, or even 1, and then I can select exactly what shows up in the tiles. Now, not only does this truck have an unbelievably configurable and user-friendly instrument cluster, but it also has a very large, very detailed, and very configurable color heads-up display. I love having this feature back. I know it was started out back in the 80s. Old Pontiacs had it, but heads-up display is here to stay, and Ram does it better than anybody else. To the right of the steering wheel, we get this awesome switch bank, which includes your RHO drive mode button, which pulls up all your drive modes on the large 14.5-inch infotainment screen. You have buttons that can scroll between drive modes very easy, and you'll see a visual representation of it in your instrument cluster. And then down below, you have your different 4x4 modes: 4x4 auto, 4x4 high, and 4x4 low. This vehicle does not have a two-wheel drive mode. However, when you do have it in Baja mode, it does allow the truck to drift a little bit and become a little bit more tossable. On the left-hand side, you have your off-road cruise control or your slow-speed cruise control, your automatic start-stop button and the ability to turn that off, and everybody's favorite, the launch control button. That's right, launch control in a truck. It's really awesome that they put a drag strip color tree to accent your launch control button. On the large 14.5-inch infotainment screen, you can actually see the dynamics that change as you scroll through the 8 different drive modes that the vehicle has. In sport mode, it puts the transmission, the stability control, the suspension, and the steering all in sport mode. When I move that down to tow mode, the transmission and the suspension shift, as well as the stability control goes to its absolute max. Down at snow mode, you'll see that the suspension and the steering loosen up to become a little bit more comfortable. Meanwhile, the transmission changes to its snow shift pattern. In the automatic mode, everything is its most comfortable setting. And then we also have a really cool customizable custom mode where you can individually adjust the transmission, the paddle shifters, the stability control, suspension, and steering. Next, we have mud and sand, which allows the transmission to run free in Baja mode, as well as the suspension. And then rock mode allows you to have the same sort of freedom that the mud and sand mode has. Last but not least, Baja mode puts the transmission in Baja mode, the stability in Baja mode, suspension in Baja mode, and the steering in sport for the ultimate fun driving, high-speed off-road truck. All new for 2025 is Ram's new 14.5-inch Uconnect 5 infotainment screen, which is larger, quicker, and more reconfigurable than ever. And also, just love just how user-friendly it is. You have a hotbar of items at the bottom, which make it very, very easy to find your music, your climate, your phone, and your vehicle options. But you also get a wonderfully customizable homepage, which you can choose from a variety of different layouts. And then within each layout, click and hold tiles, shuffle them around, and reorder them within the screen. As far as climate controls, Ram's been extremely redundant, as they always are, giving you both digital and tactile options to find your climate controls. And if you're looking for quick access to your heated or cooled seats, a quick tap of the top corner allows you to very, very quickly access all your seat controls. All new for 2025, you have the option of adjusting the zone for your heated seat, so you can have your butt, your back, or both heated or ventilated. Also, we now have not just one, but 3 different temperatures for the heating steering wheel. And if you're looking for those massage functions, the button is located right by your door handle, so very quickly and easily you can activate the massage functions of this seat. And then within the massage function of the seats, you can see that it is quite adjustable with 5 different types of massaging, as well as 3 different types of intensity, and the ability to turn on and off the seat or the back massager and have any different combination that you wish. Other nice things about this screen is when you pair it with your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it fills up the entire screen. I'm not sure if there's any other vehicles that show as much of the screen dedicated to your phone. And then when we get into the vehicle settings, man oh man, does this vehicle ever have settings. It has a large selection of cameras to choose from. A 360-degree camera, forward-facing camera, which would be very useful to use on a trail. We also even have a curb camera for the driver and passenger, just to make sure that you're not going to hit your door on anything that you end up parking next to. We also have 2 different auxiliary camera mounts. So if you have a trailer that has cameras, you're able to display those camera views on your infotainment screen. Another really awesome move by Ram. All right. Other things you'll find in your vehicle settings are the performance pages. Yes, that's right. This Ram 1500 RHO has all the performance stats and features of any performance enthusiast's dreams. We've got timers to measure your 0 to 60 time. We've got gauges to show how your engine is performing and what temperature things are running at. We have a G-force meter that will show you how many G's you're pulling as well as your pitch and roll. And we even have a propulsion page which will show you your power, your torque, and your RPM. On the dynamics page, you can see which angle your steering is at, as well as what mode your transfer case is in, as well as if your rear axle is locked or not. Talk about geeky features in this Ram 1500 RHO. And if that wasn't enough, check it out. We even have race options. That's right. You can adjust exactly what RPM this truck launches. You can also go to a race prep page, which allows you to cool the engine and make sure that you're not riding too hot. Again, if you do take this to the drag strip, and you also have the ability to customize a shift light, which will light up to let you know it's time to shift gears. As we move down the infotainment stack, we can see we've got buttons dedicated strictly to towing, including your trailer brake. We've got buttons to turn on and off your front and rear parking sensors, and I really love that we still have this. Pre-wired auxiliary switches so that if you're adding any extra utility lights or options to your truck, you've got buttons already available, already pre-wired into your fuse box, so you don't have to drill into this beautiful truck to add any switches. Also, all new for 2025, we have not 1, but 2 different wireless charging pads. Ram also has a feature where you can actually start your truck with a Ram key card. You just simply tap your key down here and it works exactly like the ignition key would work as well too. And also, borrowed from the Ram TRX and Ram GT models, we have a familiar console shifters, which enthusiasts have been always asking for its return. And when I talk about going the extra mile and making this interior best in class, Ram does not stinge away from beautiful accents and trims. This RHO badge with the rhino that states exactly where the truck was made not only states its horsepower and VIN number, but even the pressure that the turbo boosts are able to create for this truck. Another big win for Ram, this badging, this Alcantara center console, and all the nice finishing touches. All right, and when it comes to screens, Ram isn't done quite yet. Even the passenger gets their own screen as well. From this passenger screen, the passenger is able to pilot and control the navigation, finding the next place to eat or the next gas station to pull over at. The passenger is able to watch video, yes, I said video, inputted through the USB ports or the HDMI port. They can control vehicle settings that typically would not be able to be used when the vehicle is in motion. They can adjust the camera systems and help the driver park this behemoth of a truck. And we're not done with screens quite yet. We also have another one tucked away right here in the rear view mirror. All right, and if you think Ram hit a home run in the front row, they hit a grand slam in the second row. This has got to be the most comfortable, luxurious, and nicest backseat in the entire truck industry. We get the same matching suede and leather as the front seats here in the back. These rear seats are not only heated and ventilated, but check this out. They are also reclining rear seats. And if you are traveling with just 4 passengers, we also have this ultra luxurious center console, so the rear seat occupants can be just as comfortable as the front seat occupants. On this center console, we have real Alcantara armrest. We've got another storage bin and power outlet, and we've got cup holders too. Again, the back seat is such a nice place to be. Plus, I believe Ram is class leading in the amount of power outlets that it serves its rear occupants with. There are 5 different power outlets in the rear seats. And if that wasn't enough, check out the storage options as well. The rear seats flip up to expose this beautiful cargo bin, which can be tucked away out of space if you don't need it, okay? Also, underneath the floor mats, we have the famous Ram bins where you can store goodies, beverages, jumper cables, washer fluid, anything else you need, and it keeps it from rolling around or rumbling around the back of your cab. Look up top, you can see the second panel in the dual pane panoramic sunroof, as well as these beautiful aluminum speaker covers for the Harman Kardon sound system. I'm out of breath because this back seat is so nice. I think I might just take a nap back here. All right, and now that we're around back of this RHO, there's a few things that are brand new for 2025. Number one, we have all new LED taillights that do a similar dance to the headlights. Number two, we have the all new power up and power down tailgate that Ram has equipped. You can put the tailgate up and down with buttons on the key fob, up and down with buttons inside the cab, or up and down with the buttons located here at the back. But my favorite option of all is the ability to put your trunk up just by nudging it with your knee. Also around back of this Ram 1500 RHO is Ram's well-known bed utility step. This allows access to the back of your big massive truck to be a heck of a lot easier. And not only is that step useful to get up into your truck, but it certainly helps with getting down from this big old truck. So this Ram 1500 RHO also does truck stuff really well. Inside the 5.5 foot box, you can see that it has the Mopar box liner straight from the factory, as well as it has these really nice utility cargo rails. These cargo rails allow you to move the tie downs from the front to the back of the box and have them laid out exactly where you want. So if you've got a dirt bike or some toys sitting in the back, you've got adjustable and movable tie downs. Also in the box, we have an LED light, which allows you to illuminate everything back here. Not only does the box inside the light up, but also the brake light as well. And then over on the driver's side, we also have a 400 watt power outlet. So again, you can plug in a blender, some camper lights, a boom box, whatever you need to make your tailgating experience the best. All right, so in closing, yes, it's sad that we lost our 6.2 liter supercharged 700 horsepower Ford destroying super truck, but we should be glad that in its place, we still replaced it with a 540 horsepower Ford destroying super truck. See, the RHO does everything that the current Ford Raptor does, but a whole lot better. And it looks a whole lot better. The Ford Raptor is starting to look pretty boring and unexciting, where the RHO still has aggressive looks that turn head everywhere it goes. And then, let's talk about interiors. Ram's been winning awards for a reason. This is the most comfortable, most luxurious, most safety-filled, most tech-packed interior, and it's head and shoulders above every other truck on the market. So really, you can't have it all. A truck that does jumps, a truck that tows, a truck that's luxurious enough for you and your family, and a truck that can even drive itself and massage your butt while you're at it.